everyone, I'm Jingwen. It's my great pleasure to give this presentation of a project my supervisor Dr. Ying, Zheng and I did earlier this year. As you can see on the screen, the title of the project is Exploring the Potential of Adaptive Comparative Judgement in Speech Intelligibility Evaluation, a case study of Chinese English auto learners. I've divided today's presentation into the following parts. Let's start with the research background. In 2018, the companion volume of CFI revised its phonological descriptors by removing references to native speaker and replaced by the word intelligible, intelligibly, and intelligibility. This is indicative a trend that the focus of pronunciation assessment today would be intelligibility, rather than expecting test takers to achieve native accents, which also calls for new rating scales of pronunciation assessment with intelligibility as the construct. However, the problem is to date, there is neither a universally accepted intelligibility definition nor the best way to measure it, and what constitutes intelligibility construct is not even clear. As a result, it is impossible to develop a rubric to measure pronunciation with detailed descriptors for each rating dimensions of the intelligibility. So we considered whether the adaptive comparative judgment, a holistic assessment approach, could be a promising intelligibility measure. So the main aim of this study is to explore the potential of using ACJ in pronunciation assessments. Okay. Intelligibility was broadly defined as the extent to which a speaker's message is understood by a listener. However, the companion volume of CFI defined intelligibility as the acceptability of meaning of listeners, also covering the listener's perceived difficulty in understanding, which is normally referred to as what others call comprehensibility. Therefore, no universally agreed intelligibility definition may be due to its confusion with other terms. In the previous literature, the percentage of words correctly transcribed by the listener when exposed to the speaker's speech has been commonly used as a measure of intelligibility, especially when the focus of assessment has been at the local level, that is, the listener's understanding of specific words rather than the idea being conveyed. Alternatively, a linked-style scalar approach was used. It required listeners to evaluate their degree of understanding based on scalar endpoints, as unintelligible to intelligible, which focus more on comprehensibility. Obviously, we cannot directly apply or adapt this to intelligibility measure approaches to the language assessment context. Moreover, as mentioned, what constitutes an intelligibility construct is unclear, therefore analytical criteria cannot be developed. However, existing literature provides useful information on which features contribute to a good enough speech, which includes segmental features, prosodic features, and fluency features. Therefore, we can at least develop a holistic statement to assess intelligibility. Then the adaptive comparative judgment, a holistic assessment approach, comes into my mind. ACJ is a technique borrowed from psychophysics. It requires the reader to view two items and choose the better of the two items, and the final scores awarded to the test taker are derived from a combination of several readers' inputs. The previous literature has applied ACJ into different educational assessment areas such as marking essays, chemistry experiment reports, and video oral presentations, and proved that ACJ could achieve relatively high reliability. However, no one explored the potential of using ACJ in language speaking tests, in particular pronunciation assessments. Therefore, the study collected 3 sources of evidence to prove that ACJ is a promising approach for pronunciation assessment, including reliability, validity, and effectiveness. We invited 20 master students from the University of Southampton as our participants. All of them are from mainland of China. We also invited 9 mixed background readers to take part in our ACJ process. These 9 participants were divided into 2 groups, according to their experience in the field of language assessments. Group A is experienced reader group, and Group B is novice reader group. 2 experts were invited to do the analytical marking. To elicit the participant's speech, the following sentence, a read aloud speaking test item from the English Scale speaking test, be used. The marking criteria from the analytical scoring was from the speaking descriptors of the English Scale speaking test. For the data collection, we firstly require 20 speaker participants read the given sentence aloud and recorded them one by one in a quiet office. Then uploaded all these recordings to the RM Compare, a website-based ACJ platform. For 20 recordings, there are 190 pairs of judgments in total would have been needed to be compared. This is the user interface of the RM Compare system. The reader can listen to the recording one by one and decide which one is better. I put the holistic statement here for their reference. Now let's move to the results. Firstly, validity evidence. Both two ACJ groups' parameter values were significantly correlated with scores produced by experts using the analytical rating scale, as shown in the figure 1. Both correlation coefficients between the parameter value of two ACJ group and expert scores were over 0.7. There were three main parts of reliability analysis. Firstly, scale separation were calculated for the ACJ judging procedure to obtain an indirect estimate of inter-rater reliability of each ACJ group. The SSR of Group A is 0.8 and of Group B is 0.9. Both were relatively high. To further investigate the consistency of raters, the correlation coefficient between the result produced by two ACJ groups were calculated. The result was 0.74, which also indicated a significant relationship. Additionally, the misfit figures were also calculated to provide an indication of how consistently each test response was judged across of raters. With an acceptance of 0.5 to 1.5, only R07 were a bit outside of this range, suggesting most responses were judged consistently. The precise timing data was available on the RM Compare system. We found that the average working time for ACJ rater is shorter than raters who did analytic marking. However, ACJ procedure requires several raters work together to produce a final result. Obviously, in our study, the total working time of a group of ACJ raters would be longer than the raters who used the analytical approach. However, this is because we require raters to do many rounds of judgments. In the authentic ACJ judging procedure, each responses will be seen 12 to 15 times only. The working time will be short a lot. Therefore, the findings of our study indicate that ACJ does have potential to be used as an approach to measure intelligibility of the pronunciation assessment. The resources of reliability evidence mentioned have proved this. Contrary to the previous literature, the reliability of our novice rater group is higher than the experienced one. Therefore, these results suggest that the use of ACJ may help novice raters distinguish different quality level of pronunciation performance in a reliable manner that is usually expected of experienced raters. Our study only used correlations between ACJ results and expert scores as the validity evidence, which is not enough. Future studies should focus more on seeking evidence to support the validity claim of ACJ. Furthermore, as mentioned, although the operationalization of ACJ seems complicated in our study, it is not that time-consuming that I imagined before. In the authentic context, it may perform better. The future study can also focus on finding more measures to reduce the rater's working time. In sum, this study aims to explore the potential of using ACJ to assess pronunciation proficiency. Our findings suggest that ACJ is a promising measure of intelligibility, although validity and efficiency need to be further investigated. Additionally, examination boards could consider its use in high-stakes assessments rather than being only limited to summative and formative assessments. This This is the reference list for today's presentation. Thanks for your listening.